I played Horizon Forbidden West twice before playing it for the third time for this video. Once back when it was released in 2022, and then again played the PS4 version in 2024. I got the Platinum Trophy on both versions of the game, by the way. I'm pretty proud of it. I have conflicting feelings when it comes to Horizon Forbidden West. This might surprise some. Not only is it in my top 10 favorite games of all time, for me it is easily the best PS5 exclusive I have played so far. I absolutely adore this game and I'll defend the greatness of this game with my life. But at the same time, I was underwhelmed by it. And that is down to the fact that it did not improve on what I wanted it to improve on. Guerrilla Games didn't take that next step in the key areas that we saw other PlayStation first-party studios doing over the years. Naughty Dog, for instance, took that next step from Uncharted 3 to The Last of Us, or Sony Santa Monica going from God of War Ascension to God of War 2018. This very deep and meaningful storytelling from a third-person viewpoint and creating characters that are beloved all over the gaming community. This is what I expected Horizon Forbidden West to do. The saddest part is that it has made the biggest jump in comparison to its exclusive friends, but did not make the jump in that one key area. This is what I will try to break down in this video. I'll try to break down why that one key area can take this great video game to a masterpiece. I'm taking a very subjective approach to Horizon Forbidden West, so subjectivity alert. And before we dive into the flesh of this video, I want to thank you guys for the support in my Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered video. It is the most viewed video on my channel. So without further ado, let's shield wing our way right in. Let's start with talking about what makes this game stand out. That is, of course, just how unbelievably stunning this game looks. I feel like I don't have the proper words to describe the visual quality of this game. I'm not kidding. I literally sat in a dark room and thought about this. I asked myself whether this is the best looking game I've ever played. The answer is, it is definitely in the top 3. And when we are talking about open world games, the only game that slightly exceeds it for me is Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption 2. Other than that, the visuals of this game are just unmatched, and it is operating on an entirely different level. This game is a visual feast. What they have achieved here is nothing short of remarkable. It remains unmatched in sheer beauty even by the standards of 2025. I'm absolutely floored by the lighting specifically. It has this incredible jaw-dropping effect on me. This is one of those games where I spend hours upon hours in the photo mode. This is one of those games where I do the E3 camera pan every other hour. This is one of those games where I just walk and take in all its beauty. I try to play it in a way that makes it cinematic, and much of it comes from their art direction. Guerrilla Games' visual style is a vibrant explosion that commands attention, and that vibrancy just leaps off the screen. If you remember Horizon Zero Dawn from 2017, which was already a great looking game, and they have taken it to another level in just 5 years. The level of meticulous detail and the density of things to look at any given moment, it confuses me. Sometimes I don't know where to look. It weirdly feels overwhelming at times because of just how much there is and how sharp it is. Whether that be the density of foliage, intricate rock formation, or the volumetric lighting and fog to top it off. It adds so much depth to the atmosphere, it is stunning, specifically when you are indoors exploring ancient ruins. Not to mention the dynamic time of day and weather, how it changes the mood of this world, diversifying the environments. Special shout out to the god rays of this game, which is hands down the best in any game. Every time the god ray sneaks up to me, my jaw drops. All of it contributes to creating this living and breathing post-apocalyptic setting. I can literally make an hour-long video just talking about how the visuals of this game just takes my breath away. Let me know in the comments if you want that. The allure of the Forbidden West extends beyond its stunning vistas to encompass a truly remarkable strength in its sheer variety and diversity of life and lore. This is where the game made the biggest leap forward in comparison to its predecessor's homogeneous landscape. The game masterfully unveils the depth and variety of its stunning open world, taking its time to showcase each facet in a way that feels both rewarding and intentional. The game has this tendency to celebrate its visual and depth of the world through its main story. For the first 5 to 7 hours of the main story, the experience felt like a refined version of Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't perceive the significant leap forward that made me praise the game after completion. But after those initial hours, the game starts to open up and showcases its stunningly vast world where you can really feel the love and meticulous care that went into crafting this experience. It of course starts at the Daunt, but when you go deeper and deeper into the Forbidden West in search of the subordinates, the leap forward is undeniable. When I went to the ruins of Las Vegas for the first time, the memory of this is so vivid it will last a lifetime. I've never been to the United States, but Las Vegas is so deeply permeated in our pop culture, any form of it leaves me utterly astounded. The same applies when I went to San Francisco, and again, it takes quite a while for you to get there, and when you do, my god it looks good. I'm utterly captivated by the lighting and the fog effects in this specific locale. The first thing I did when I got here was turn on fidelity mode and just roamed around, taking it all in. I navigated to the rooftops and captured some stunning shots in photo mode. One of them will probably make it to the thumbnail, we will see. That alone makes up for a memorable experience for me personally. I'm very easy to please. And let's not forget the photo mode, which is easily among the best in any game. Though Ghost of Tsushima remains my personal favorite, Horizon Forbidden West's offering is a very close second. And what adds to that immense sense of vastness are the settlements. Forbidden West is dotted with numerous settlements and each one feels unique, with its own distinct character and identity. I'm not going to praise all of them in this video, but a few that have truly left a lasting impression. The first one is the home to the Utaru tribe, and that is Plainsong. It's an absolute treat for the eyes, where again, I just went in and walked around. It is my favorite settlement in the game. Followed by Chainscrape, the Delver settlement built and maintained by Oseram. There is this warm vibes to this place, and it has a living and breathing indoor area. Some honorable mentions as well. Legacy's Landfall, which I think takes place in San Francisco. I'm basing it off the color palette, which looks breathtaking. The Bulwark is cozy and outstanding. The Lowland Clan's capital, Thornmarsh, is also impressive. Exploring the open world of Horizon Forbidden West reveals a level of density, vastness, and visual impressiveness rarely seen in video games, and one of the key reasons why this game is so special to me. Okay, that is just the environments we talked about, because there is another striking achievement to this game's presentation, and that is obviously the character models, both in gameplay and cinematics. We will talk about the gameplay side of things a little later, but the cinematics and the character models in Horizon Forbidden West are truly a masterclass in visual fidelity and artistic direction. The level of detail in the character models blows my brains. From the subtle pores on Aloy's skin to the intricate stitching on their clothing, it is not leaning towards realism but instead prioritizes visually striking elements for the player. Facial animations are incredibly expressive and nuanced as well, although I did sometimes see delays in the voice and the lips. What I find even more astounding is how the cinematics are seamlessly integrated into the gameplay, often blurring the lines between the two. Again, the lighting is particularly impressive during these sequences. Even without cutting-edge tech like ray tracing or path tracing, it blows 99% of the games that do. Speaking of character models, the star of the show is of course Aloy. I see the discourse online about how people find Aloy ugly, she's too chubby or whatever, and I don't get that. In terms of video game characters, I find her exceptionally attractive, and I actually think she looks even better in this game. One of the many reasons why I like Aloy is her superheroine-like presence. So yeah, I love her. She's a badass. I also really like the customization. There are so many outfits to choose from, and you can dye them in different colors. I mostly stuck to this particular blue version of this outfit I was rewarded from the maw of the arena. Let us now turn our attention to the gameplay, or simply what makes this game crazy immersive, cinematic, and a blast to play. I'll divide the gameplay chapter of this video into 3 parts. One is the exploration, which I think is super important and has come a long way in this sequel, followed by the combat, which is really the meat of this game, and lastly, the melee, which has made a leap forward. First, the exploration and what helps you navigate this stunning open world. This was a big problem for me in the first game, because all you could do in Horizon Zero Dawn was either sprint or override and then mount Strider. But here, they give you so many options, like the fact that you can override more machine types and use them as mounts. Even though I do think the mounts are kinda weird and janky to control, but it is an option and I use it from time to time. But what I stick to is the flying overrides, such as the Sunwing. You can now fly in this game, making your exploration way more stunning and quick. It is a sight to behold when you have to go from one end of the map to the other. If I'm not on my Sunwing, I'm on my feet, because I love navigating around with Aloy in this game. She has this cool running style and gorgeous animation, her hair and outfits reacting to her movement. I can't say this enough. Character movement is super important to me in games, and this game is really good at that. And yeah, let's talk about that grappling hook and the shield wing. The grappling hook is a cool addition that is mostly used in story beats and in gameplay. But the shield wing has completely changed the dynamic of navigation for me in this game. I love how I can be so high up on the map, then jump and pull out my shield wing for a quick way down. There are points in the game where I did not use any sort of mount. I just ran around, used my grappling hook and shield wing. It is a blast. The exploration has taken a leap forward in comparison to Zero Dawn. Speaking of leap forward, now the most important element of Forbidden West's gameplay, and that is the combat, or to be specific, machine combat. It is another significant evolution in comparison to its predecessor. Not only is it engaging to play, you have to be strategic, and not to mention, it is a visual spectacle. Just like the first game, it starts with your focus scan that elaborates the machine's strength or weaknesses to elements like fire, frost, purge water, etc. etc. This allows for such dynamic, unique, and fresh every time kind of combat sequences that this game never once feels repetitive. This game throws so many machines at you every other minute. Let's not forget, they have increased the machine arsenal this time around as well. I never felt anything less than excited to kill off these machines. And when you finally take down those gigantic behemoths by emptying half of your resources, you breathe a sigh of relief. You feel rewarded, you feel you have achieved something in life. Okay, that's probably too much. Every machine is unique and they have surprises up their sleeves. Their movement pattern is so unpredictable that keeps you on your toes. This particular playthrough is done in moderate difficulty with New Game Plus, and I have the best weapons in the game unlocked, all the skills except for trappers unlocked, all the Valor Surge unlocked. Even with all of that, it is still challenging and crazy immersive. The weapon arsenal has also been expanded. I'm not gonna touch on the already existing ones, which are perfect, but the other significant additions, like the Shredder gauntlets, which tears off machine parts and you can catch them mid-air. It is so cool. My favorite new addition is the Spike Thrower, which is part of every single of my combat sequences. It feels so satisfying to stick it in a machine, and when it explodes, chef's kiss. These do significant damage, especially the one I have that has advanced mode or whatever. It is such a deep and fleshed out combat package, and I haven't even mentioned the strategic use of traps, which can be tailored to exploit specific elemental weaknesses. The traps can be very helpful in boss fights. To close the curtains on machine combat, special shout out to the Valor Surge, which is another new addition. I love this so much. It makes your combat so cinematic, and when you activate it, Aloy has this cool cutscene thing, and it is different based on the type. It gets me pumped up for the action. I saw myself constantly switching the Valor Surges. To conclude, in every fight, Horizon Forbidden West strikes a perfect balance between beauty, brutality, and strategy, making its combat one of the most memorable and rewarding aspects of the entire game. It is a stunning achievement in modern game design that stands tall among the very best. Another aspect of the combat that is not setting any benchmark but made a huge leap forward to its predecessor is the melee combat. I was pretty shocked with how much they have improved here and how much depth the melee has now, because in the first game, it was straight up horrible. It is for sure understated, but against human enemies, it is a lot more fun and satisfying to melee in Forbidden West. There is a literal skill tree just for melee, and they have a long list of combos to really mix and match. I also love that you can hone up your melee skills from the melee pit. While I largely skipped the side content in this playthrough, I distinctly recall completing all to obtain the Platinum Trophy in the past. My favorite addition is the aerial attacks, as it makes the melee very responsive and very cinematic when you combine it with your ranged attacks. So overall, the combat experience in Horizon Forbidden West is nothing short of magnificent. I would say it is near perfect, and for me personally, one of the very best gameplay packages. My only issue with the combat, or what they can improve on in the eventual third game, is the jankiness. Something I hinted at the start of this chapter. While running and dodging in combat, Aloy sometimes feels unstable, particularly on uneven terrains, and this issue is significantly amplified within Cauldrons. What results is very inconsistent dodging when machines are charging at you and the camera goes all over the place. This single improvement alone could truly elevate the combat to perfection. I can only hope you're listening, Guerrilla Games. Okay, enough praise. Let's now address what I clearly hinted at the start of this video, the one factor that held this great game back from a true masterpiece status. And that for me is the story and the characters. As I briefly mentioned in my Zero Dawn video, the story and characters of this franchise, aside from Aloy, don't resonate with me on a personal level. That actually made a lot of people angry. This is a subjective opinion, as I alerted at the start of this video. To properly analyze its weaknesses, we must first understand its underlying structure. Once again, Horizon Forbidden West casts Aloy as the reluctant savior, driven by a profound sense of duty to halt the relentless advance of a deadly blight that threatens to consume the planet's recovering ecosystems. Allow me to clarify. From the initial impression, this is freaking awesome. I find the intricate narrative tapestry woven around the old ones and their downfall incredibly compelling and thoroughly enjoyable. This masterful environmental storytelling, coupled with rich tapestry woven through collectibles, data points, and audio logs, unveils incredible depth and layers of narrative. Taking the time to engage with these collectibles reveals the meticulous thought and intricate planning that went into crafting this world and its history. But the issue is how it is told through the main story. I get so bored in major story beats where I just stand and listen to the holograms of the old ones. The pacing grinds to a halt during major story moments where I'm forced into prolonged static listening sessions with holograms of the old ones. And frankly, it becomes incredibly tedious. I have little to no interest in passively absorbing information about Ted Faro and Elizabeth Sobek, for example, through holograms. That absence of genuine human connection and emotional resonance is disappointing because that elevates other PlayStation first-party games like The Last of Us to such powerful experiences. It's a real letdown in that way for me, because this is what Horizon Zero Dawn did as well, and it just does not work for me. And in Forbidden West, it is way worse in my opinion, because I don't think the main narrative and the writing here is as compelling as its predecessor. The narrative would be far more impactful and engaging if these pivotal moments were brought to life through visually rich flashbacks, a clear strength of the game's presentation. What happens is that these sci-fi elements being presented that way feels contrived and somewhat messy. And the characters do not help either. For me, when a game fails to present its story, the characters become the last hope. But sadly, other than Aloy, most of the characters are either distant and underutilized in the main story. To begin, The character development is a significant step up. The game boasts a wealth of characters compared to its predecessor, and surprisingly, many of them, both familiar faces and intriguing newcomers, are genuinely captivating. But they are hardly part of Aloy's journey to save the world. While many of these characters are interesting in their own right, their involvement in the primary narrative feels superficial, leaving me disconnected from their fates in the context of Aloy's main quest. They come across as mere busybodies. Like, spoiler alert, World dies in this game, and I feel nothing. To be brutally honest, if any character in this game besides Aloy were to meet their demise, it wouldn't elicit even the slightest emotional response from me. And I find that disappointing because this is what I wanted them to improve on from the first game. Something that PlayStation first-party games usually nails, and it hurts to see one of my favorite games to lack that. Another significant flaw in Forbidden West's narrative is how much of the core plot and its resolution feels deliberately held back, essentially making it a prolonged setup for an eventual third game. Now, what works about the story of this game, and the reason I stick with it, is our protagonist Aloy.
Enough bloodshed! Let's settle this. You and me.
I care for her so much. She is a phenomenal character who was great in the first game and even better here. She looks the part as well. I really love her character design. She's multifaceted, stubborn, impatient, and also compassionate.
Thanks, Mildef. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like.
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
Her fierce determination to save the world and protect her loved ones ultimately imbues her with a distinct, almost superheroic aura. Even though she is such a focused with the task in hand type of character, she comes across very witty in this game in my opinion. And I really like that change, because she felt robotic at times in Zero Dawn.
Studious, Wadi sent Aaron and another vanguard out at daybreak to clear the way.
And so at daybreak.
Hey!
Shh.
Yea, for as the first shall be kept.
Shut up.
One aspect I'd love to see evolve in the third game is Aloy's dynamic with her companions. Rather than the prevalent pattern of unquestioning admiration, it would be far more compelling if those around her offered genuine challenges and support that truly uplifted her, fostering deeper character development. My feeling is that, with the notable exception of Rost in Zero Dawn, none of the subsequent supporting characters have truly contributed to Aloy's meaningful growth or provided a similar level of impactful guidance. To conclude, I am thoroughly disappointed again with the story of Forbidden West, and as a well-wisher of the Horizon franchise, I really wanted them to nail it, and I dreamed that they nailed the third game. My hope is that they craft truly phenomenal characters who evoke profound and lasting emotional connections with me. They will tell the story of the world before in a much more impactful and understandable manner. Go for it, Guerrilla Games. I'm rooting for you. I truly am. It is the key factor that could have made this video game from great to masterpiece. Now, before we wrap things up, I want to briefly highlight the side content, which, while I haven't delved into it extensively this time around, is another significant leap forward compared to Zero Dawn. Let me be absolutely clear. The side quests and errands in this game boast a production value that rivals the main story. The meticulously crafted cutscenes, engaging character interactions, and the meaningful activities within them are stunningly curated, offering an experience that feels every bit as significant as the primary narrative, maybe even more so at times. This stunning world and its vastness was already enough to immerse you here, but the side content for me elevates it to another level. Even though I have not done every single one of them, there are some big highlight side quests here that I can very strongly recall. They give you awesome weapons, outfits, etc. But as I was playing the New Game Plus, I steered clear of most of them. Let me know your favorite side questline in the comments, or do you want me to do a more elaborate video on the side content? I will be happy to do it for you guys. Aside from that, I picked up some collectibles opportunistically during this playthrough, and I love how varied they are now compared to Zero Dawn. Like the Tallnecks, for example. Each has its own unique twist to it, which I find very engaging to look for the next one. It is not perfect, however. It does have some filler and repetitive content, as with most open world games, like the camps and stuff. But again, they reward you with awesome weapons, loot, modifications that enhance your overall experience. So again, a very satisfying and awesome package. So, Horizon Forbidden West. Let's bring this discussion to a close with my final thoughts. For those of you who have journeyed this far, you have witnessed my very harsh criticism of the story and characters in this game. But even with all that, it is one of my favorite games of all time, absolutely in the top 10. Despite those earlier criticism, Horizon Forbidden West unequivocally ticks a multitude of boxes that for me are the hallmarks of a true masterpiece, as I very thoroughly explained in this video. And to see it this close and not tick that key box makes me sad, because the potential is there. It was there in the first game, and it was definitely here as well. To illustrate my point, my two all-time favorite games are The Last of Us Part 2 followed by Red Dead Redemption 2. And let's be clear, neither of those are flawless. The Last of Us Part 2 has notable pacing issues, and Red Dead Redemption 2's gameplay mechanics are frankly quite clunky. But I still consider them two of the best games I've ever played. So given that even my absolute favorite games aren't perfect, why can't we extend that same understanding and nuanced appreciation to Horizon Forbidden West? This is what I tried to establish in a 30-something minute long video. I feel like we are underappreciating Forbidden West. If you have never played it, please keep an open mind and give it a try. I think you will have something positive to say about it. It is truly a great game, and I'm closing the curtains with one last sentence. Forbidden West was one step away from a true masterpiece. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to this channel. I'm trying to get to 1000 subscribers, and your support will help me a lot in that process. And what is your opinion on Horizon Forbidden West? Do you agree with my opinion? Do you disagree with it? Comment away. Let's have a conversation down there. Thank you for your time. Rax Plays, signing off.
Don't you have an embassy to get to?
Yeah, I guess I do.